Hi, I'm John, and these are the rambles of an educated ignorance. Nowadays, you can listen a lot on the radio. How European countries, I mean, all countries in general, but European countries in particular, are talking about increasing their spendings on the military. They call it defense, but it's actually dedicating money to acquire and develop and sell weapons to destroy things and kill people. That's what weapons are made for. I mean, you can try to turn it around in all ways you want. Say that it's a deterrence, investment on deterrence. That you can convince the other not to be bad with you because you're going to kick his ass. So, a strong military helps you to defend yourself and helps to keep the world peace and so on. And that could be the case, but I don't think so. But in many cases, it does work like this. We have to admit that. But I think it's a concept in which a lot of work is necessary. So try to find another way. But weapons, that doesn't change the fact that weapons are made to destroy and kill. When you develop them, when you build them, when you test them, when you use them, it is to destroy and kill, and to destroy buildings, sometimes energy infrastructures, sometimes hospitals, and to kill people, soldiers, civilians, animals, to ruin and make absolutely sad the life of those who stay alive and lost their loved ones. Weapons and military equipment are made to destroy and kill. And of course, the current situation in the east of Europe, the war between Russia and Ukraine, is motivating this. I I wonder why a lot of people is talking about making the military strong, invest in the military, and few people ask why, and few people ask who really benefits from this investment. Okay, I have an idea why. My answer is that maybe this is due to how the media work. And the media has a kind of ideology behind, or social morale, and is focused on what the zeitgeist is, what the people is interested to listen and to be reassured, and what's going to sell in the media, what kind of news are going to be the best news, the most impacting, the most selling, more most commercial. And they can also be manipulated to create a environment of anxiety and fear, which is the best environment to dominate groups of people. But I did hear it like once, I think, about who's going to benefit from it, and why are we discussing this when the world is turning upside down with climate change problems, and a lot of people is like, having trouble to earn their lives, and there are economic crises and so on. And the ones that are really going to benefit from all this are the weapon developers, manufacturers, and sellers, which are private companies or governments that actually benefit from the selling of this equipment, these weapons, and therefore indirectly benefit from wars existing and taking place. So, at this particular moment in history, there are a huge ball of debt, economical debt, that a lot of individuals contracted, that a lot of states contracted. And this is, of course, a natural consequence of the market system in which we are, which money is created with its own associated debt that can never be repaid, really repaid. But this is another topic. But a lot of governments are talking about austerity and making efforts to make ends meet, cuts, economic cuts here and there and over there in social institutions or establishments, social workers, government employees, even some private companies are asking their employees to make efforts of austerity and savings. So, as if there will be a need of money and a lack of money, you know, should spend less because we have to pay a lot to banks and Federal Reserve or whoever. And at the same time, they are talking about spending billions of dollars invested in weapons in the army to destroy and kill. On the other hand, I mean, at the same time, you hear a lot about climate change, how the environment is going raw, crazy, and we are facing consequences of this climate change, and it's getting worse and worse. And solutions are needed to avoid disasters, life loss, and material damage, because the events that can be derived from these weather events that might respond respond to might well respond to climate change are are increasing in quantity and in intensity. And this is a big issue. This is a big problem. It's like we're in this boat of planet Earth, and you see some water on the deck, and are we sinking? Maybe we should have a look and start doing something to solve it, or at least not to make it worse. And instead, well, again, there are talks about investment, large amounts of money, but incredibly large amounts of money on the military and on weaponry. Again, they are destroy and kill. So, okay, you tell me, but this is normal because you have to have a strong army to be safe and be able to develop your region or country. You know, if you have a strong military, you're going to be not bothered and you're going to prosper. So the investment on the military should be first to be protected, to be safe, and then have a prosperous region or country in which the economy can flourish, the culture can flourish, and the society can flourish. Well, this is an argument. Okay. And as actually like this is the way it is nowadays. And I don't discuss that. But it's clearly heading to a big wall because there is no money. If you create more money, you create more debt and harming others and spending money on this doesn't really look like the most sustainable solution, especially because of the increasing destructive power of the weapons that humankind develops and the ideas or the considerations and values of the people that are decision makers about what's going to be done with those weapons, who is going to be killed and what is going to be destroyed, how many civilians are going to be killed, and how many hospitals, for example, hosting sick people, children, whatever, are going to be destroyed. And this combination can be disastrous, can really be disastrous. It's like at some point, there's no limit for what a misaligned person, not to call it lunatic, can do with the firepower of high tech weaponry. So, this is really alarming. And finally, where do all this money go? Well, to the pockets of those developers, manufacturers, and sellers, which in many cases are countries that foster the flourishing of their societies based on resources, economic resources that are earned selling weaponry to destroy and kill, or to private individuals that fill their pockets selling weapons so people can kill each other. So, what's the solution? There might be not. Okay, nothing really says that there is a solution for this. This is maybe the way it is and the way it's going to be. And certainly the way it was. So, this is what we know. And we know that it's bad for a lot of people. Millions that die, and other millions or billions that stay alive and suffer the consequences of those other people dying and all that property and materials destroyed. This is the end of the first part of this rumble. Please access part 2 to continue with it.